We have been around the world and done a bazillion things and have a lot of money spent on accommodation. But the one thing we've done as we have traveled the world is we have saved over $30,000 just this year alone on accommodations. We're going to tell you how. It's not just house sitting, it's 4 other strategies we're going to share with you on this video.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Steve and this is Chris, and we are EatWalkLearn, and we just celebrated our 5th year.
Woohoo!
Of
I really can't. How many days is that? 365 times 5. So that's 15,
a lot of days.
1,500? At least 1,500 days.
Yeah, 16, 1,700.
Yeah. Full-time travel.
And what that means is we've got no home base. We've got no storage unit. We are traveling full time. We started traveling on June 1st of 2021. And so now we're in June of 2026, 5 years later. And so we kind of do an annual recap from every year in the first week of June.
So the end of May, we think about our visioning for the next year and kind of what we want to do. And we put together a budget for the next year, and we look at our numbers from the previous year. So this is Steve's shining star. This is the video he looks forward to every year, the spreadsheet video. And we're actually going to do it differently this year. This particular video, we're only going to talk about accommodations next week. So make sure you subscribe and follow along. We're going to talk about our whole budget, whether we hit our budget, went over our budget, and all the other categories that are within that budget. But this particular year, we're talking about the big picture of accommodations. So what is accommodation?
What's accommodations is any place that we stay, any place that we lay our head down at night. So that's one of the first questions that people ask us when we find out that we're traveling full time. They say, "Oh, you stay in Airbnbs, right?" And we're like, well, yeah, and we'll show you all those details. But we're also taking a lot of cruises. We're staying with friends and family a little bit. So we're finding ways to find different kinds of accommodations depending on where we're going and what we're doing.
Yeah, so let's start off with some assumptions. So a typical hotel costs about $150 a night. That changes worldwide, but that's the assumption that we use. So the value of $150 a night times 365 days is $54,000, almost $55,000 if you do accommodations in a very traditional way that a lot of people who vacation do, and they use this $150 a night budget.
But the $150 a night, I think if I were just planning like a 2-week vacation and I wanted to go to, any major city and say, okay, I'm going to spend 2 weeks in a Hilton or 2 weeks in a
Well, you can't do that in a major city anymore.
You can't do that in a major city.
In a secondary city maybe, but not a primary city.
Exactly. So you could say the $150 is low. Like where are you finding places for $150 a night? And you could argue with that the other way. You could say, you're traveling full time. You're not spending 150 nights in a Hilton in London. That would be crazy. Or $150 per night. You're going to look for ways to save. And so that's what this video is all about. So we're going to talk about our budget. We're going to talk about the ways that we saved money, and we're going to give you all the details and all the numbers. Started out at $48,000 a year. We're now spending $58,000 a year. So inflation has definitely gotten us over the last 5 years.
In 5 years, our budget's changed $10,000. And if you think about what's happened in the last 5 years, I think $10,000 is not so bad.
Exactly. And then the next chart I'm going to show you here is how it breaks down by category. So you can see that accommodations is our largest category. Then we've got our travel and transportation category. We've got our food category. And then we've got a bunch of other things that kind of fill in.
So in our video next week, we talk about everything but accommodations.
We're going to talk about everything and our total.
So how do we travel on $17,000 a year as a budget accommodation?
As for our budget.
Well,
the first thing we are going to talk about is house sitting. And you can see this beautiful location that we are in right now. We are taking care of a couple of really great little dogs, and we are actually doing a house sit right now. So this is the area where we have our biggest savings. Now I have to be a little caution is that there are some responsibilities, right? So there's upsides and downsides. It's not just, hey, get a free place to stay. We have to be responsible. We've got to be taking care of pets and taking care of a house. as the homeowners would, and really being diligent about that.
Right. So we use a website called Trusted House Sitters, and there's no money exchange at Trusted House Sitters. It is a mutual exchange of services. We stay for free. They don't have to put their dog in a kennel. When we first started out house sitting, the reason we did house sitting was to save money. Eventually, the reason has become the houses that you uncover on house sitting are generally very comfortable, nice places to stay, or at least the ones that we stay in. They're nicer than Airbnbs, they're nicer than hotels, and it's just a great place to find comfort in addition to having pets. Now, the Trusted House Sitters does cost some money. There are some things you need to learn. We've done lots of videos and done lots of blog posts about how to create profiles, how to get 5-star sitting, how to get 5-star reviews, and so on and so forth. And we can certainly go into that. If you have questions about house sitting, please be sure to write them below. But in relation to house sitting, this past year, we spent 68 nights house sitting. If you figure that's worth $150 a night, that is $10,200 that we saved, did not spend a single dime on a house in relation to house sitting. Yeah. Now, the actual cost to that is the membership. We have the premium membership at Trusted House Sitters, which is $259 a year. With that, we get a couple of lounge passes, we get some liability insurance, and we get unlimited listings on Trusted House Sitters. By the way, if you would use our link for Trusted House Sitters, we get a little kickback, and I think you get 25% off or something. I'm not sure. There's a different premiums every single time you click on the link, but you get a little bit off. We get something too. Thank you for doing that. Whether or not we got a kickback, we would still support Trusted House Sitters, because over all the house sitting sites out there, it's the one we like the most, and we love that there's no money exchanged between homeowner and house sitter, and it's a mutual exchange of services.
Yeah. And if you like this video and you like ideas on how to save money on travel, like this video is about, and other things of full-time travel, please subscribe. I really appreciate that if you subscribe and hit that alert button so that you know when our new videos come out, which are pretty much every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Okay, so category 2 of how to beat the accommodation game is long-term rentals and renting off platform. What we mean is, maybe you find a property on Airbnb, or you find one on Booking, or you find one on one of your favorite websites that list a place that you can stay for a week or more. The strategy there is to find the contact information for the person that's listing the property someplace. There are pros and cons to this, lots of risks and advantages to staying on platform or going off platform. You definitely, each situation you need to take on a case-by-case basis. Yeah. There are some beautiful benefits to staying on platform and some assurances that reduce risks. On the other hand, you can pay a lot extra to stay on platforms. So one of the situations that we did this past year, we were in Poros, Greece last May, stayed for a month. While we were there, we decided we wanted to come back in the wintertime. So what we did is we went on various conglomerations of places that list housing, right. Found 4 or 5 places that were listed as summer rentals in Poros, Greece. Get a hold of the owner, contact them directly, not through the platform preferably, and say you want to see the place. So that's what we did.
Yeah, and this is definitely not a super easy strategy. I mean, it's so easy to go Airbnb or Booking or Hotels.com or whatever and find something, click and pay for it, and you're done. This takes a lot of a sleuthing, if you will.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to investigate different properties. In this particular case, we were in Poros, Greece for the whole winter. But we were there also earlier, so we could check places out in person and ask people and talk to locals and find out. And or you might want to contact, a leasing agent or somebody who is doing long-term rentals. We stayed there for 4 months, and the other trick is that it was off-season.
And in this case, because we had a relationship when we were working with locals, and locals knew locals, and we knew them, it was a risk we were willing to take.
Yeah, and the advantage is we liked it so much, we're going to be going back again. And so we're going to tell you about our next place, because we found something that's even a little bit nicer, with a little bit better view, with even a little better price. Yeah. So this gives you the opportunity with slow traveling. It gives you an opportunity to find those great deals going off platform.
So again, back to our savings counter. I think Steve's going to do a little graphic of our savings counter. So we stayed 92 days.
Right.
At $150 a night, that would have been $13,800. But what we did is we paid just over $3,300, just right around $3,300. So then category 3,
I got a disclaimer on this one. You'll be like, oh yeah, anybody could do that.
Yeah. Well, it's the family and friends category. Now, we don't stay with our family very often. We don't stay with friends very often. Usually we're doing one of these other categories.
Right.
But when we come back to the States, if we're not staying with family, if we're not house sitting or staying in a hotel, we're probably staying with family and friends. So this past year, as my cousin used to say, family and fish are similar. They both stink after 3 days. We love our family. We understand. I mean, we know we stink after 3 days staying in someone's house. We get it. So anyway, and when you stay with family, just because you're staying with free doesn't necessarily mean it's free, because I don't know about your family, but I know my family's like, well, you're staying the night for free. Can't you take us out to dinner? Or we're all together and there's just the desire to go out to dinner and spend more money. Doing social
or
time with
you're
family.
going to go buy groceries and cook everybody
Cook for 4
a
people rather
meal
than
because
2.
it's this gratitude kind of thing.
Right.
Maybe pay for gas because they're driving you around places kind of thing. So you don't want to particularly take advantage of family and friends too much, but it is definitely part of our strategy since we are full-time travelers with no home base.
Yes. So last year we stayed 34 nights with family. So 34 times 150 again would be $5,100. With family and friends, we technically had 0. Now we do have costs associated with that we put in other categories like taking people out, gas and food and so on.
Right.
But in the accommodation budget, it's a 0.
Yeah. So stay tuned. That was kind of a gimme. We've got a couple other great strategies for you. And then we're going to do the whole recap and show you how much money we saved in total for the whole year and the comparison to our budget. So you can see, we slept in 79 different beds, crossed the ocean 7 times. We must have gone over budget, right?
Yeah,
So
just the flight, the 7 times across the Atlantic, that's $51,000 right there. Okay. So next up, category 4. Credit card hacks. You probably, if you're a traveler, you probably do some kind of hacking, or you've heard about hacking, or you've read about hacking. It's all true. Especially for Americans in particular,
Right.
You can use credit cards to get points to hack all kinds of things. We generally use our points. They're usually with Chase, and we usually use them for hotels.
Yeah,
So-
and we have a lot of hotel specific credit cards. So this is another one where you might think it's challenging. You say, well, I don't want to do that. That sounds like it's too difficult. And it's an incredible way to save money on some really fabulous accommodations. So a lot of people use credit cards so that they can accumulate points. And I think that's just too slow. It
So
can
like
take
3
you
times
forever.
grocery and 2 times
Exactly,
drugstore and 1 time okay, got it.
The biggest benefit is when you get a new card that has a significant sign-up bonus. And that means that you get a new card and within a certain period of time, there's a certain amount of spending that you need to do to get a big bonus, a big basket.
So like
of
in 3
points.
months, you have to spend $3,000. And if you do that, you get 100,000 points.
Exactly.
Got it, okay.
Exactly.
But
that's the way to accumulate points the fastest way.
But what I like to look at when we're looking at credit cards, so credit cards can go, the price of the credit card to get the credit card can be anything from $0 to like $800. Why would you spend $800 on a card? Well, you need to look at the benefits that the card gives you. And if the benefits have value that you're going to use, then it's worth buying the card. So for example, we'll look at a card that maybe costs $500, but for that we get access to lounges, we get a free night of hotel, we get travel insurance, we get medical insurance with that travel insurance, we get free, one of them gives a $50 gift card to Saks Fifth Avenue. You also get a $100 travel credit or a $300 travel credit. So we add up all those benefits, and if the benefits that we actually are going to use are worth more than the annual fee, then we'll buy that card. But if the card, like there's one card that's $800 that has benefits to like, free wine club or something. We don't drink wine. Why would we get that benefit if we're not into wine? So anyway, but rule number 1 of getting cards is, You have to have good credit, and the way you get credit is you pay off your cards, and you always pay off your cards every single time, which is, you have to do more than just pay off your cards. But if you're going to maintain a balance on your credit card, this is not a strategy for you.
Right, right. This is key. I don't want to be irresponsible and say, just get a bunch of credit cards and just charge. No, you've got to pay them off 100% every month and have no interest charges. Otherwise, the interest fees will just eat you alive.
Yeah.
And I would never recommend that somebody get a credit card if they're not going to be able to pay it off 100% every month.
You know, and I think a lot of people say, well, yeah, and we churn and burn our cards. So we get a card, we keep it for about a year, we get another card, we get it for that, because we keep on doing these bonuses. Between the two of us, we probably do 5 or 6 bonus signups a year, something like that.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a benefit to keep a card. Sometimes it's a benefit to cancel it. But the other thing I want to talk about is your credit score, which a lot of people say, oh, no, I can't do that because it's going to kill my credit score.
Yeah.
In fact, my credit score is better than it has ever been. And one of the reasons is because you pay it off every month. And the other is that the ratio of the amount of credit that you use versus your total credit available, that's one of the key factors. So if you have an additional card but your balance is 0, that actually improves your credit score. Now, I'm going to say that
we're not experts on this
particular category.
There's lots of other people who are experts on this.
I'm going to say from my personal experience, I accumulate more credit cards and my credit score keeps going up.
So one of the cards that we love, that we always recommend, we have a link down below. Whether we had the link or not, we would still recommend this card, is the Sapphire Preferred card. It's $95 a year. You get 7,500 bonus points when you sign up. 75,000, sorry, bonus points. You have to spend $5,000 in 3 months, which is pretty easy for us. And you get travel insurance and all these benefits that we use all the time.
Yeah,
so
and
definitely
make sure that if you have a $3,000 spend or a $5,000 spend in a certain period of time, make sure you do it. Because they don't forgive, they don't say, oh, we'll just give you the bonus anyways. No, you don't get the bonus and you've just wasted your time.
Yeah, so looking at our savings counter, last night we stayed 38 nights on points, some sort of iteration of points. Again, at $150 a point or a night, that's a $5,700 value. The actual cost, when we look at all of our annual fees that we paid in order to save that $5,700, was $2,400. What?
Okay, so let me...
Wait, tell me about what you mean by that, honey. I don't know what that means.
So because we actually paid for some hotel nights as well. So our total amount that we actually paid to stay in a brand name hotel was $2,447. But within that, we paid just over $1,600 or $1,600 just in annual fees to keep our credit cards, which is a lot, which is really a lot this year. So that was really high this year, but it's real. It's real. You have to pay for the annual fees of the credit card. And you have to count that. You can't say it's 0. It's not 0.
Okay, so a typical price for 38 nights would be $5,700. We spent $2,447, of which $1,600 of that were credit card fees.
Exactly.
So then we paid $800 or something in actual hotel nights.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. He explains my budget in real time. Okay, next category is Airbnb. So a lot of people say to us, well, when you travel the world, you must be staying in Airbnb. And we kind of go,
we do.
Kinda, yeah, we do. And I mean, Airbnb is great. You, especially if you are staying more than 28 days. Matter of fact, here's a tip. If you're booking an Airbnb for like 23 days, see what it costs for 28 days and see if you get the monthly rate on 28 and just eat the 4 days, which we've done that several times because the monthly rate can be 10 to 50% less than the nightly rate.
It could just be a huge discount when you hit that 28 days. And that's definitely a key strategy.
Yeah. So, and Airbnb is more expensive. You're paying for the convenience of not having to make deposits, not having to pay utilities, not having to go through a background check, not having to sign a lease. All these things. There's a value to that, and that's called Airbnb.
Yeah.
There are certainly a lot of political issues with Airbnb, and gentrification issues and so on. We try our hardest not to use Airbnb, and particularly in the cities that are really anti-Airbnb. Barcelona, we're looking at you. New York, we're looking at you. Lots of cities that do that. We definitely look for alternatives in places where Airbnb is really not well received, and it's definitely not our go-to. On the other hand, a lot of times we can find places But one of the downsides that we, among the nomad life community, you hear this a lot in Airbnbs. The knives are dull, the couches are uncomfortable, the pillows are terrible. You only get one set of sheets, you only get 2 towels. I mean, it's not like a hotel where if there's a problem, you can go down to the front desk and say, I need another set of towels.
Right.
You often can't do that with Airbnb.
And the concept of Airbnb originally I thought was great because you have people who have extra space, and you can stay in their house and enjoy the comfort of a home, and that was great. But now you get a lot of the corporate owners, if you will, that don't communicate well, and you don't get very good service. So that's one of the downsides as well. But we're still using it because it's a good platform, and sometimes it just works and it gives you a great value. Now I have to tell you about the math because with the numbers that I'm showing you are for 60 nights that we spent in an Airbnb. It doesn't actually quite add up because we've actually prepaid for next month and 2 months from now that we're going to be at an Airbnb in Sweden. And that was 28 days. So the math just didn't quite work. So I had to actually increase the number of days to the actual days to make it work.
The way we do our budget is we take the cost in the day that we spend it, not the day that we use it.
Right.
So if we're cruising in November, but we bought the cruise in February, it's a February expense. So when we have this fiscal year come up and we're buying next year, it still comes in the current fiscal year number. So that's kind of what Steve's saying in a different way. So we did 60 nights. We have paid for 60 nights, which would be $9,000 in a hotel at $150 a night. But which we actually spent was $44.51, or saved over $4,500 by staying at an Airbnb.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then the funny numbers on the dates or the days. So anyway,
the
next category is cruises, but stay to the end because we're going to round this all up, and you can see it on a spreadsheet. You spreadsheet lovers.
This is the one that I think most people are going to be surprised with. They're going to say, "You take cruises to save money on accommodations?"
Yes, big time.
How is that possible? And we're going to take you step by step to tell you how that's possible. The first thing is we don't just go on pleasure cruises just to go on cruises. We're typically taking, although we have done that, we're typically taking cruises because we want to get from point A to point B. So we affectionately refer to it as the bus. And along the way, you're getting accommodations, you're getting your food, you're getting your entertainment, and you're getting your transportation. So repositioning cruises, if you want to know how do you find good repositioning cruises, and that's just basically a one-way cruise, go to vacationstogo.com, and we'll put a link down below.
We don't get any money for referring.
We don't.
So Dean Bloom is our travel agent there. He's great. Tell Dean we sent you, extension 7667. It's like we know it manually.
But it's a great website.
We don't get any kickback from them at all. Dean, I hope you're listening, and you give me a little onboard credit next time. But it's great because we use it because the filtering tool at vacationstogo.com allows you to look for repositioning cruise, transatlantic, and transpacific. And then it doesn't bring up all of them that are available. It brings up the ones that Vacations to Go sells.
Yeah.
But they're often the cruises that we want to go on. Whether you buy them from Vacations to Go or not, that's up to you. We do find that they often give us the best price. We also will double check with our friends Cara and Rex at the Rambling Roundaries, who are travel agents within our community, and we also recommend them as travel agents to book your cruise, and they will give you a good deal as well.
Exactly. I want to show you because I'm going to show you a screenshot of exactly how you do this on Vacations to Go. The first thing you're going to do is search for repositioning cruises and the time frame that you're looking for. And then once you get up the screen of all the cruises that are available, there's one click that you can sort it by price per night and get the lowest price per night at the top. So you can very easily look for the cruises that are affordable. You look for the one that you want as the lowest price, and then you could click on the left-hand side and it'll bring up the screen and you can see, okay, the inside cabin is this price, but here's an ocean view cabin, here's a balcony room. and then you can go from there. Contact Dean Bloom, and there might even be a better price, or you might even be able to get some better things thrown in. But this is how we've been able to get some great deals on cruises.
And then the way we allocate our expenses on a cruise. So the total price for the cruise, 35% goes to lodging, 30% goes to transportation, 25% goes to food, and 10% goes to entertainment.
Exactly.
So we did so in Steve's math of his lodging of 35%.
This is Steve math.
Yeah, 39 nights on a cruise. So a hotel night would be $150. The value of that is $5,850. With Steve's math of 35%, or the actual cost for 39 nights of cruising in the accommodation budget was $3,267, or over $2,500 in value saved by cruising over a hotel room.
And then just to recap, that's not the total price of the cruise.
Right.
So this is again, Steve math. Feel free to steal this math if you want, so you can calculate how much
Steve math trademarked.
How much your cruise is going to cost.
Okay, so the last category is using Booking.com. Now, lots of pros and cons to Booking.com. The reason why we love it is because we are level 3 VIP status, which is higher than level 3. Because of that, we get automatically, I think we get 10% off automatically on all of our bookings. Plus, we get all kinds of bennies thrown in, and we get one-to-one customer support. Now, if you're less than level 3, a lot of people complain about the customer support at Booking. Your miles may vary. Anyway, because of that discount, we are and they often have the longer you stay, the more of a discount you'll get. So we stayed 53 nights by booking at Booking, which at a $150 night typical scenario would be $79.50. Because of our discounts and so on, our accommodations this year were $3,635, or a $4,300 savings.
We're going to give you all the numbers, but first I just want to talk a little bit about our lessons learned. Again, we've been doing this for 5 years, but we learned a lot just in the last year about accommodations and how to save money.
Yeah. Lesson one.
Lesson 1.
Slow travel saves money. The less you transit, the more you save.
Yeah, so totally that from the people that have slept in 79 different beds, and we still saved an amazing amount of money.
Yeah.
But the most we saved was when we stayed put and really got to know a community and really got to take advantage of longer term stays.
And got that 28-day discount or local one-on-one discount for multiple months.
Yeah. And related to that is if you can stay off season and go someplace where you're not there in the heat of the season. Take advantage of that, and you'll be able to take advantage of lower prices by far than being at the hot spots during the hot seasons.
Okay, lesson 3, flexibility is more important than loyalty. Even though we love to get those loyalty points at the different cruise lines and hotels, if we can get a cheaper price someplace else, we're probably going to do it.
Yeah, and this is a great example this year is we cruised on Carnival Cruise Lines across the Atlantic. We typically don't use Carnival Cruise Lines. This is the one we call the bus. But, comfortable room, good food. It got us from point A to point B.
It was transportation, period.
It was transportation.
All right, number 4, credit card hacking isn't hard, even though, you heard our trials and tribulations. Just take your time, read everything, sign up for Facebook groups or whatever, watch videos. Once you get the hang of it, it gets easy. It is hard to start, but once you get it, it's very easy.
Yeah.
More or less.
And the last lesson is really kind of repeat. The first lesson is slow down, smell the roses, enjoy your time as you travel, as we've been traveling for 5 years now, and probably will do for another 5 years.
So, yeah. Here is our final accommodations chart. So we're going to break this down one line by one line, just really quickly.
Yeah, we're just going to take a look at it quickly on how much it cost us, what our spending was, what our per day spend, and what we think our savings were. The first one is house sitting. We did that for 68 days. We only paid $259 for that, and that's $4 a day.
Okay, the other one, the alternatives to Airbnb, 92 nights. $32.89 or $36 a night.
Exactly. Friends and family was kind of like a punt, a gimme. 34 nights we stayed with friends and family. It did cost us something, but in this particular case, we're saying it didn't cost just in this example because it's hard to calculate exactly how much it
Well, it
costs.
costs in our other categories, but not in our accommodations
Yeah,
budget of a zero.
exactly.
So traditional hotels, which is 38 nights, which was 2,447, and that includes $1,600 of credit card fees. We put the credit card fees in that category because those credit cards we use for accommodation, and we get free nights with those credit cards. That's why it's in the accommodation budget.
Exactly. Airbnb, 60 nights, was $4,451, average of $74 a night. And just a little disclaimer on that, I actually added more nights in because we prepaid for some stays.
So $1,900 was prepaid for Sweden next year.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just had to do the math. So it's coming out to more than 365 days for the year.
Okay. So then cruises, we did 39 nights of cruising for $3,267 of accommodation in the cruising in the accommodation budget, which is not the price for the cruises, or $84 a night in cruising.
Right.
Booking.com reservations, we did 53 at $3,635 or $69 a night average on Booking. We volunteered at an organization where we help people learn English. In exchange for speaking English, we got free accommodation nights. That was 9 nights at a really swanky 4-star hotel, which is more than $150 a night, but it cost us $0. So our total accommodation budget for the year was $17,348, an average of $44 a night. Did we stay in budget?
Well, but first, before we do that, so in this particular chart, we estimate, and you can challenge this number, that we saved over $41,000 on our accommodations if you use that $150 a night annual number. But our budget was $17,000. Our actual spend was $17,348.
Wow.
And then the budget isn't just a number we came up with like last week. This is like 14 months ago. We said we want to spend $17,000 on our accommodations over the next 12 months. And we came in within 300. I don't know how we did that.
Within 2%. Wow.
Within 2%. I think that's an amazing strategy. If you want to know how we do our budget and how we come up with our travel budget, we might do a video on that. Put a comment below and you can ask us, and we'll do a kind of a detailed budget on how we figure that out. I'm just going to put this one was just luck. Or maybe after 5 years, we're getting so good at budgeting and planning.
But we look at our past, and we look at our past to predict our future. And our past, we've been right on budget with our accommodations too.
Next week's video, please again subscribe. I appreciate that. We're going to talk about all the other categories: the food, the transportation, healthcare, health insurance, cell phone, expenses around the world. Must be $1 billion. Shoes is its own category. Is shoes a category?
Well, it's in the spending category, which is basically shoes. Anyway,
exactly.
So next week we won't be so wordy and so much going on because it's a little bit more straightforward in next week's video. But we will break down our budget. Do we stay on budget for the year with our overall $58,000? Do we not? Yeah. What do you think? We were over 2% on accommodation. How's that going to come out elsewhere in the budget? Do we stay on budget? Woohoo! Anything else you want to say, baby cakes?
I love you.
I love you too. I love this life. I love you guys. We love you. Thank you for hanging in there. And we know it's a long video. We hope you've gotten value out of it. We'll see you next week.